Hey everyone, welcome back to Turkish Spotlight Secrets. Buckle in, because what we're about to unfold isn't just a headline, it's a complicated, intimate story that's left the industry whispering and fans holding their breath. Before we dive in, remember to subscribe and share if you want more deep dives like this. Now, onto the news that has everyone talking. A wave of speculation has been circling around Gökberk Yıldırım for weeks, and not because of a scandal or a flashy premiere. Insiders say there's a painful, deeply human reason behind the quiet distance forming between him and his co-star, Cemre Arda. While some tried to frame it as a routine falling out, sources close to the set insist there's something far more sensitive at the heart of it, something that reshaped both of their lives and forced them to make choices they never expected to face. According to industry whispers, the turning point came when Cemre Arda underwent a serious heart operation. An event that instantly changed the rhythm of everything around her. The moment news of the surgery reached Gökberk, the actor reportedly began adjusting his entire world. He pushed back scenes, slipped away from public events, and asked production to carve out space so he could be nearby. Those who saw him during that stretch noticed a quiet focus replacing his usual playful charm. He stopped lingering on set, avoided unnecessary chatter, and seemed to be measuring every step, every minute. People who've worked with Gökberk for years describe him as reliable under pressure, but this time was different. The hospital corridors, the steady beep of monitors, the strict schedules of tests and checkups, they wore him down in a way cameras never could. Between the waiting rooms and the phone calls to doctors, he was said to be emotionally spent. All of that fed into his decision to take a step back from everything else, including the closeness he shared with Cemre in front of the cameras. Those close to both stars say the distance didn't arrive like a storm. It crept in, day by day. On set, they still exchanged polite smiles, still hit their marks with a professionalism that fooled outsiders. But the familiar ease between them softened. Scenes wrapped faster. Conversations became shorter. Crew members describe a feeling rather than an incident, a subtle shift that hinted at a private conversation they weren't meant to witness. Friends of Cemre, speaking carefully, say she chose silence for a reason. Not everything unfolds the way we imagined, she is said to have told a trusted circle, making it clear she was meeting this chapter with grace rather than defensiveness. There was no dramatic fight between her and Gökberk, no late-night argument to fuel tabloid fantasies. If anything, the gravity of what she was facing pulled them both into a space where compassion mattered more than labels. Meanwhile, fans began to notice the change in Gökberk's public habits. He stopped posting regular updates. He skipped red carpets without explanation. Even when he was off the clock, he kept his head down, avoiding the click of cameras and the questions he had no intention of answering. The message was unspoken but unmistakable: this is private. Those who reached out say he never once tried to turn the story into pity. He simply shielded what needed to be shielded. That restraint was especially visible when rumors began to surge. Some outlets tried to spin the slowdown between Gökberk and Cemre as a breakup born of rivalry or pride. But according to people who were there, the truth is quieter and heavier. The choice to separate their personal connection from their professional one wasn't about cooling feelings, it was a call made under the weight of a health battle that demanded calm, patience, and space. It was about making room for recovery and removing pressure where possible. Those who've seen the pair up close say the seed of everything began the day the doctors laid out what the next months would look like. There would be hospital stays. There would be rest and restrictions. There would be days where nothing seemed to move forward, and others where tiny victories meant everything. Faced with that, Gökberk reportedly repeated a single thought to friends, over and over in different words. Family comes before the spotlight. When filming paused, he was with Cemre. When scenes wrapped early, he found a quiet corner to check in on her progress. Colleagues noticed too. Between takes, he would step aside to answer calls from the hospital. He'd sit with a script in his lap and stare past the pages, waiting for a text to come through. The lines still came out clean when the camera rolled. He never abandoned his craft, but the weight around his eyes gave away the sleepless nights. And on more than one occasion, he asked to leave a little earlier, no fanfare, no excuse beyond a polite nod to the director. Doctors, we're told, emphasized the same instructions more than once: rest, minimal stress, a slow and careful return to normalcy. That guidance shaped everything. It framed how the two approached interviews, by not giving them. It guided how they shared news, with restraint, if at all. And it made clear why Gökberk avoided feeding speculation. He didn't want even a stray detail to become a headline divorced from context. Every decision pointed to one intention: protecting the person at the center of it all. In the swirl of celebrity chatter, that restraint stood out. Insiders say the distance between Gökberk Yıldırım and Cemre Arda was not a fracture of ego but a reordering of priorities. No salacious twist. No secret feud. Just a difficult season where the heart, both literally and figuratively, became the focus. They kept their counsel, and their silence has been interpreted not as coldness, but as respect for something fragile and real. Behind the curtain, the emotional toll ran deeper than the public could see. Friends described moments when Gökberk, normally composed and steady, allowed himself to feel the full weight of it with the people he trusts most. He talked about pressing pause on career moves, about scaling back big plans. The rush to the next big milestone no longer seemed urgent. There was only the day in front of him, and the person who needed him present in it. Cemre, for her part, has been quietly strong. Those who've spoken to her say she has never once framed this as abandonment or betrayal. If anything, she has reminded friends that sometimes our roles in each other's lives change because circumstances demand it. There are moments when we have to shoulder other duties, she has allegedly said, a graceful way of recognizing that love can look like stepping back as much as holding on. In that, there was a kind of maturity that impressed even the most skeptical observers. People near the production underscore the mutual respect that still anchors them. There have been no accusations, no bitter parting shots. When asked, both avoid the topic rather than risk turning something intensely personal into content. That choice, simple as it looks, speaks volumes. It's easy to perform sorrow for clicks, it's harder to bear it quietly. Those who have watched them navigate these weeks and months say their restraint has been protective, even noble. As for how Cemre is doing now, hopeful whispers suggest recovery is moving in the right direction. The chapters ahead won't be rushed, that's by design. Gökberk has begun to reappear here and there, a measured return rather than a full sprint. But those who know him say the hierarchy of his life is set in clearer order than ever: the people he loves, the family he chooses, and the one he was born into, they all take precedence over anything the industry can offer. Work will be there when the time is right. In the end, the story of Gökberk Yıldırım and Cemre Arda during this period isn't a cautionary tale about fame. It's a reminder that even the brightest faces on screen are navigating unseen battles. The so-called split that made headlines wasn't fireworks, it was a sober decision in the face of a demanding, delicate recovery. Fans, seeing past the noise, have flooded both stars with well wishes rather than accusations. And that outpouring has mattered more than people may realize. So where does that leave him? In a space that resists simple labels. They are co-workers who still treat each other with care. They are two people who've carried something heavy together and chosen to guard it from the glare. They are, perhaps most of all, a reminder that private courage rarely looks dramatic, but it's what gets you through the longest nights. If the distance between them is measured now in quieter exchanges and fewer public sightings, that distance feels intentional, not punitive. For now, the clearest signs point to healing. Slow, steady, and real. And as both remain tight-lipped about specifics, that silence reads like a pact. It says, let the work speak when we're ready, and let the rest stay where it belongs, with the people who lived it. Until then, every small update, every careful smile, every gentle return to routine will carry more meaning than any headline could. We'll be watching with the same patience they've asked for, sharing only what can be shared responsibly. To everyone who's been sending support, keep that energy coming, it's the kind of spotlight that never burns. And as always, you'll find the latest, handled with care, right here at Turkish Spotlight Secrets. Don't forget to subscribe and share if this story moved you. We'll see you in the next video.